Hey everyone, welcome back to 3D6 Down the Line. We are continuing our Megadungeon crawl of the Halls of Arden Vul by Richard Barton using a heavily modified rule set of the Old School Essentials system by Gavin Norman, Mr. Necrotic Gnome. We're actually not going to be doing too much dungeon crawling today because they have returned to town with sweet, sweet loot. They've already spent a whole session identifying, cashing in a bunch of that stuff. They got a lot of sweet gear. The most pronounced would probably be Laryl's. Oh, I'm getting ahead of myself here. We need to introduce everybody, right? My name's John. I'm John. I'm the referee for the evening. Going around the horn once again, we have.
I am Mike. I play Goran Blackhood, the dwarf.
David, he normally plays Onward the Illusionist, is dead to us tonight.
I am very much alive to us tonight. I'm Matt. I play Avaricios, the left hand of Lycion.
And I'm Ted, back from the dead, playing Mortus J. Gobliano, the world's strongest goblin.
Okay, so as we were saying, Laryl One Eye, they identify correctly all three of his artifacts, which kind of blew the sages of the Arcane Practitioners Club away. And you notice that some people skittered off when they heard about it. They warned you about how much it's very dangerous equipment to have because of how many people would desire it. La-di-da-di-da. But those were extremely powerful items which you now own. In addition to a few other things which you identified as well. So, Dalton's Darlings are... Go ahead.
I believe Mortus has hit points he will require.
Yes, that is. We're going to be doing that in just a second. I'm just giving everyone a recap real quick.
Oh, okay, fine.
Yeah, so...
it's all right, Ted. We rolled them for you last time.
Oh, I don't believe you. I listened to the episode.
So Dalton's Darlings are in town as well. They are debating whether or not to allow them to not allow them, but what they're going to do about Heliogabalus and Yost is basically the big question on everyone's mind right now. We got some curses removed, and I can't remember. I know that the boots were removed, right?
Yeah.
Okay, we did do that. I wasn't sure that actually, because at one point you were saying we were going to do it, but then you said, "Oh, it'll have to happen after we do the identify," and then you left off with the letters.
Did it happen, Mike, or not? I can't remember.
It did. I spent the rest of the day at that temple getting the thing done.
Yeah, and then
did
David get
the coin?
Did David get the coin?
I can't remember that. And since he's not here, we don't have to worry about it. We can just retcon that.
Okay,
fine.
I mean, I'm sure they have enough people at the temple to... It'll be like a spa day for everybody. I'm getting my thing fixed. You guys are getting your things fixed. You're getting your little pedicure.
Yeah, and then, so Avaricios at the same time got his disease cured, the wasting disease, which was really good. And Avaricios is also looking to spend a week or more training with his new retainer, Njal Oakheart, who feels that he owes him a blood debt to train him into use of his other hand. And there's all other sorts of leads and things like that to pursue tonight. So first of all, though, we have a little bit of fun bookkeeping, which is leveling up. So Gornd is squarely in the middle of level 4 now for a dwarf, so he's set to go. However, Mort, only because you weren't here last time, Ted, you are owed a hit point roll. You're now a Goblin 2. You are exactly 1 XP shy of being a Goblin 3. However, Matt Avaricios did spend last session as level 4 and was 1 shy of level 5. So he is now level 5. Level 5 cleric of Lycion. So that same would also be the case for David. He raised up to level 3, a level 3 illusions, which means that he would have gotten his new 2nd level spell. Or access to cast 2nd level spells, I should say. He does not automatically, according to my house rules, actually gain a 2nd level in his spell in his spellbook. However, he is in exactly the right place to gain that spell, because as long as he trains with a mentor, as in someone in the Arcane Practitioners Guild club, he would be able to add that. The other problem with David, too, is that he has no spell book. So they can train him in the use of this spell, but he has nowhere to write it. So he's in a little bit of a bind.
So spellbook is what, 1,000 gold, John?
1,000 gold, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so more reason for us to cash in some of our gems and things.
Also more reason to go back to the what's it called? The Plunger Town. So let's do the quick one first. Mort, you're the quick one. Let's get your die roll. Give me 1 second here before you roll, so I can let people see.
I believe a goblin is a D6.
It is. Yes. How many hit points do you have maximum right now? Just out of curiosity.
Currently, I have 4 hit points.
Maximum?
Yep.
Wow.
He was a goblin.
Rolls, dude.
I'm still level 1, technically.
Now you're level 2. So go ahead and roll your D6.
Now I'm level 2. I get to roll my second hit die.
Oh, unfortunately, you said you were level 3.
No, I'm 1 shy of level 3.
Yep.
Yeah, because remember, I took over Mort when Squeegee died in Blungertown.
Yeah, he has to spend at least this session and gain some XP from this session in order to be level 3.
Right.
All right.
So,
Mort, please roll.
D6, and I regret to inform all of our fans that I have an 8 constitution, so that's a -1 to this die roll. Don't! All right, here we go.
Come on, Ted. You got this.
Oh, big 6.
I rolled a 6.
All right.
Oh.
So it's going to be 5, but that's the maximum you can get. That's great.
Okay.
So you more than doubled your hit points.
Sweet.
You are almost into double-digit hit points.
I'm living La Vida Goblin here. Okay.
And as far as I can tell, nothing else happens for your next level, right? You're just level 2. Yeah. Okay.
Second level goblins, we don't suddenly get X-ray vision or anything. No,
but he is twice as likely to survive, which is excellent. Avaricios. Level 5. So level 5 is a big level for Claren.
Oh, that's the good stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So not only can you cast another second level spell, which is great, but you have a bracket jump, the same thing that happened to Gorand last time. So all of Avaricios' attack bonuses go up, his saves go down, and he achieves weapon mastery, which means that his damage die now goes from a D6 to a D8. So all of your weapon damage now is a D8, which is amazing. In addition, you get hit points. So let's get you rolling here.
And I'm going to redeem myself. Last time I rolled a 1. Oh, and now that my disease is gone, my con is back up.
Nice.
So that's good. So okay.
Do you get a bonus?
Here we go. I do not. Even though I'm healed, my con is only a 9, so it's just a flat roll.
Gotcha.
Okay.
All right, I'm
rolling
ready.
that D6.
Do it.
5.
Yes.
Okay.
Nice.
Excellent.
I will take that.
That's good. So you
Yeah,
sort of
baby.
averaged out between the 2 levels, which is not too shabby.
Okay. Yeah.
nice.
Max looks like a 15 now.
15.
Which is not too shabby.
All right.
Not too shabby indeed, sir.
You take a couple of hits.
Looks like you're going in the front, bro.
Well,
Yeah.
you have to, they take care of the little guys, the little people who brought you this far.
We'll give people a little look at his new chart here. So he's looking at level 5. So yeah, his attack bonus goes up to +2 instead of +0, and then looks like all of his saves go down by 2 except for spells, which goes down by 3, which is pretty sweet.
Nice.
Most
Most importantly, you get another second level spell.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you don't need a spell book. You just need the favor of your god.
That's right. I just pray. I drink a little bit. I party a little bit, and I ask my God, what should I cast today? And he tells me.
One thing that we don't actually think about a lot with clerics too is if you look down there at that turning the undead table, that is also advances, right? Like
I'm looking forward to that.
I was actually just going to mention that he auto destroys first and second hit die creatures.
Yeah.
And then auto turns second and third.
Yeah.
Oh, second hit die with a special ability.
So the big thing is that he can destroy second level 2 hit die creatures, and he can turn now hit 3 hit die creatures, which is great.
So you automatically destroy skeletons, right? Can you do that while it's still inside of somebody? Because that would be handy.
That's thinking outside the box.
We can try it.
I think you should pray for that power.
Yeah.
That'd be a cool party trick.
Hey, he be a goblin. Blit.
Yeah, and you have a chance to turn 6 hit die creatures, although it's very,
Nice.
very,
Awesome.
very
Let's
slim.
avoid those though.
Yeah.
Like not.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably a bad idea.
Okay, good.
And someday, maybe you'll have the chance to turn the thing that killed Osric. We'll see when
Dang, poor Osric.
Yeah. You guys
Well,
stepped
I
in.
really liked that character too, man. He was good.
He was great, yeah. You guys stepped in some doo-doo, though, really early on in the campaign. Okay.
For those of you that don't know, we wandered into a very beginning area on the dungeon. There are no beginning areas. And came up with a named undead wraith and a giant stone golem.
Yep. It was actually brilliant play that only led to one character death, to be honest. Anyway,
fair to say, but it was a disappointing start to Arden Vul, I gotta say.
I'm just saying props to you guys. A lesser player group who was not as steeped in OSR as you are would have been a TPK easily, as you know. Okay. So let's get back to it. So I'm basically going to leave it up to the first thing, I can't remember. I was rewatching the episode. I don't think you actually told me that you spent a night. Like, this is all during the first day, right?
Yes, we just made it through the first day.
I think based on what you said about how long it would take to remove the curses, etc., it is now evening.
Gotcha. Okay, so
and that's the 10th of Ligarios, or is it the 11th?
It's the 10th. It's the evening of the 10th of Ligarios. So I would say now, like, it's been an exhausting day. You spent the whole day traveling back to town, and then you were busy the entire day going hither and yon. The exhaustion of the rituals that were taking place on you also fatigued you a lot. So I would rule that you can certainly, I'm not going to stop you from going to sleep, but if you stay up, I'm going to apply penalties because you're so tired. Otherwise, you can just go to bed and get a fresh start in the new day. So up to you. If you have nefarious activities that you must address at night, then let's go to it. I'm just saying, like, you're really beat.
No. I agree. Besides, that helps us kind of keep an eye on Dalton's Darlings, right? Because we're sharing a room with them, or a suite, or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, that was the one thing. So we're going back to the really fancy inn that we got access to, right? And we offered to put them up, right?
Right.
So I don't know how much it's going to cost us, but if they have the rooms for it, we're going to just go ahead and put Yost in a room with, like, me. Like, we'll share rooms, right? Just to kind of isolate him a little bit, right? Like, if we're doing doubles.
So here's the deal. So the deal you made with Eusebia, however, she's giving you a deal on on one of the suites at the Stunned Acolyte, which is pretty sweet. But the innkeepers have been given your descriptions and basically said, like, no one else but you is allowed to have that deal.
I see.
You see what I'm saying?
I mean, we can still pay full price, right?
You can pay full price. Yeah, I'm just saying, like, you can't, but you, like, Yost cannot share your room.
No. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we would like to put them up. How many people does the suite sleep?
Like, it doesn't know, but it's like a suite, so I just assume, like, a party. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Sure.
So if you want to put up Dalton's Darlings, you could do that.
Which is another suite.
They would be very pleased, obviously. Let's see. So for regular, so they have single rooms, and then they have suites. So you could bed down all of the Darlings in a suite, and they go for 15 gold per night. Very expensive.
Sorry, Matt. Our deal is for what, half of that, or
yours is actually really good.
4 gold or something like that.
Yeah, I got it right here. Hold on a second. It's you have a special deal, 3 GP per night, and if you have mounts, it only costs you 1 silver piece to stable them outside of town at Sekion's livestock enclosure.
Okay.
So I have an idea. You know what? We are pals with Yost now. He's on. I mean, we like all these other guys too. I think tonight, we get some drinks, we buddy up, and I think that one of us, whoever Yost seems to take a liking to, should just get really drunk with him, crash in his room with him. Mm-hmm. Like if he can't stay in our suite. Buddies, they crash together all the time. You're a little drunk. You don't want to go too far.
That's fine.
We can do all that. I'm not arguing and saying we can't. I am going to say, though, I know David's been really keen to prevent Yost from talking to Helios about the spaceship and this kind of thing, and we've got some secrets and stuff. I don't think we're going to really keep it away from him. At some point, someone's going to ask, someone's going to blab. Yost gets drunk and starts, "Hey, did you know I've been to a spaceship? It was cool," and we're like, "Ah, shut up."
My only proviso is that David had plans for, like, I don't think you should make a group decision with that without David's input. Is my only thing, because David was so intent on working that out.
It was his main thing.
Yeah,
I know.
He's even thinking about killing Heliogabalus, like straight up.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, as far as like trying to come up with clever plans about separating Yost while we go get drunk, kind of thing. I don't think we should sweat it too much, because.
Oh no, I mean, I think it's easy enough to just, like, when the night's over, just like have somebody crash in his room, and that kind of addresses, David's concern, and we're trying to.
You could totally do that, yeah.
Okay.
But the question, what I'm asking you though, is, are you going to buy them a suite, or are you going to buy them single rooms? That's what I need to know.
Let's do single rooms.
I would actually think that doing a suite would actually prevent Heliogabalus from isolating Yost and getting him to talk. Yost seems like a little bit more resilient to Heliogabalus. I know I'm murdering that dude's name. When there's other people around. It was when he one-on-one'd him that he kind of seemed like he was about ready to spill the beans.
I agree.
So I would say get him a suite. I would say, and John, does our suite contain our NPC potential, like, party members, or no?
That's a good question. That's up to you. Actually, they are not your party members, so they do not get the bonus. So if you want to give the Darlings the suite, then your NPCs would have to get single rooms if you were willing to provide them. Otherwise, they'll just go out in the town and find their own rooms. They don't. I think
they should find their own thing, because we just gave them thousands of gold pieces. And,
right.
I mean,
yeah,
they are all sitting pretty.
Yeah, they're not butthurt about that. They're cool with it.
No, but how about this though? How about we all have a dinner on us at the really nice inn?
Okay.
Oh yeah, everybody. Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Just a big, like, collection of all of you guys.
Yep. Big family style dinner, man. Meeting of the minds. Potentially in a private room if we can, so that we can actually talk to Dalton and formulate our plans for the return to Arden Vul.
Okay.
One thing that we had pitched, and I don't know if this got brought up in the last session or not, but one thing that we had pitched was the order in which things that we're going to go and do when we go back to Arden Vul. And that's one thing that we need to finalize here tonight. But I think that what we kind of settled on is gather the big group, take care of the halflings, set that up as a forward base for us, and then hit Plunger Town and go retrieve spellbooks. And potentially that giant ruby ass throne, which really, really, really would be a giant coup for us monetarily.
Right.
And there's a magic spirit hidden in that tomb that we never retrieved, because
we got to get that.
How do we know that's magic? Everyone keeps saying that, but did we know that?
I mean, it looked really magic, and now I got the spell to do it. The only difference to what you, from what I was thinking to what you said, Mike, was we have that unexplored, that really deep entrance that nobody else knows about. At least nobody else had known about, right? That we discovered, and it was the thing we found right before Plunger Town happened, and that can be our forward base. Also, right? Like, that could be another option. What I've been thinking about, which I thought might be cool, like, set Dalton's Darlings up in the old halfling place, so they have to deal with the goblins fighting and stuff, which keeps them busy.
And we
also know where they are, and we get our other thing.
Yeah,
right?
I love that idea. And then the only other addendum, sorry, Ted, let me just finish my thought here. The only other addendum to that is that Plunger Town's got to be at the top. Otherwise, we're going to lose Tressie.
Yeah. Well, I was arguing that what Matt was saying on our Discord, that's what I was arguing about, was I think we should do that, because frankly, Mort doesn't care about the spellbook so much, but he gets that other people do. So I think if it weren't for those, I would not feel compelled to go back to Plunger Town right away.
And remember, like, Onweir's spellbook is there too.
Yes.
Yeah, I know.
He's really hobbled without that. So
it's kind of
and there's that. Yeah, there's that, and then also just the fact that right now, until we actually tackle the spaceship, I feel like we kind of got to keep the band together as far as the NPCs go, because they're all in on the secret. You know,
makes sense.
If we weren't going to bypass the spaceship or ignore the spaceship or whatever, then it wouldn't matter if we keep these NPCs happy and keep them with us. But for now, it's kind of like in our best interest not to have loose lips wandering all over Gosterwick being like, hey, you guys want to go see a dead body? You know, like we don't want that. So let's keep them together. So like kind of order is deal with the halflings because they gotta go. They gotta go. and I'm gonna wear their asses as hats. And then Plunger Town and then Spaceshipville.
Okay.
Can we make boots out of their feet? Yeah, cool.
Oh, it'd be like a little hairy on top.
Don't forget that if Plunger Town is in the near future, then you've locked Tresty in. And then as well, don't forget that you had made mention of doing some research here in downtime on Isocritus. So if Isocritus is still a goal in Plunger Town, you have that option to seek out if there's any sort of information. You do know that there was information up on the ruined city about Isocritus appearing, remember? So I hope you noted that.
We need a week for Avaricius to train. And whether if Niall's doing the training, it doesn't really matter whether we do it part here in Gosterwick and part back up top, right? We could go back up and be topside, kind of looking around and still training, or
yeah, but you would have to
like
mark it.
Week.
You would need to mark out that time. Like you can't do it while you're adventuring. Like it would have to be like in a safe space where you have a training ground to like do that sort of stuff. You can't.
So it's like an all day 8 hours of training thing.
Yeah. I only made it a week with the assumption that it was like literally like an all day like. Left-handed camp.
Nice. Very Ned Flanders.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
So I think in order for the session tonight, what we should do is we should do the dinner with the darlings, right? We told them that we would also investigate why they're wanted by those knights.
Yep.
We can isolate them while we figure that out too. And then I need to incorporate our adventuring party so that we don't lose the benefit of the elevator hand if we all die. And that we, hopefully can still keep the thing with the inn too, right?
Right.
Okay, so
go ahead, John. Sorry.
Let's just move through it. Like we'll just do it one step at a time here. Okay, so first of all, money expenditures for the inn. Okay.
Yeah.
So
14
Ted,
for the suite, right?
Ted, are you marking it off?
I am.
Okay, so first of all, it's 3 for you.
Yes, I got that.
Okay, it's going to be 15 for the darlings for their suite.
15.
Okay.
I thought you said 14. Okay.
And then,
got it.
And then you have your choice of a meal. There is a simple meal for one person is 1 GP, but you can get a full sampling of the gifted chef Tador's genius, which is well known throughout the land, even as far as the great city of Narcelian. That if you want to top it out and like go full bore, it's 15 gold per person. So
how many people are we talking? There's 4 of us. Plus Niall, Sam,
4, yeah,
Tresty,
yeah,
and then Dalton, Yost, Helio.
1, 2,
2 more
3,
people?
4, 5, 6. There's 6 darlings.
So it's all told. There's
14 of us.
There's 14 of us. Oh yeah, 14. No, 4 of us, 3 NPCs.
Yeah, it's 13.
So it's 13.
13.
Yeah.
Okay.
13.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I have prayed on this. And Lysion is like, dude, you made it out. Party up, man. Everybody.
Yeah.
Live it up. You're alive.
Yes, absolutely. You said it was 15 per person?
15 per person.
All right, so that's 195 gold.
All right, that is an expensive meal. I don't actually think I've ever seen a more expensive meal in all my years of playing D&D. That's
Hey, did you see the place we just came out of? It's worth it.
Yeah,
we live.
So when Mort comes down and basically tells the owner and innkeeper, whose name is Ulf Varion, when he tells Ulf that he wants the full spread, and Ulf is sort of like, wow, that's going to fill you up. It's going to be great. Tador's back there in the kitchen right now. Then you're like, I'll take it for 13 people. And they roll out the red carpet, man. It's like you get like the private room, like the long table, like all the decorations. Like this is like when visiting royalty from the Arcantian Empire come to Gosterwick, which is very, very rare. This is like where they would dine and how they would dine. So you have like the full spread with like footmen and everything, Do
we dine in the Roman style where everyone's kind of lying down?
Oh yeah, why not? Right.
Sweet.
Yeah, that's right. Got to recline.
Oh, and I'm ordering the souffle, so that I know that takes longer, and you have to ask for that ahead of time. Definitely,
I'm glad you told me that. Thinking ahead once again.
Oh, see, you got it's these things. You know, I pray, I get the answer.
So
Okay.
Yeah, Dalton, despite his cultured airs, you can see like when he's invited down to dinner that he is just absolutely like his jaw drops when he sees what you guys are offering. And he's like, well, I can see that we came out with a little bit more money than I thought you did.
My friend, this is why we adventure.
Indeed, I could not agree more. As he's like snags like a goblet of wine from a servant. And
we count this as carousing.
Yeah, this is controlled carousing. So there's no
controlled carousing.
No actual mishaps.
That's an oxymoron there. I don't know.
But all of the darlings, that even Heliogabalus is pretty stunned by the generosity, and everyone just starts to have a great time. And Heliogabalus like lays off of Yost, and Yost is already drunk, so he all of his paranoia disappears as well, and everyone's just having a great time and exchanging stories, and it's very much like a scene from Conan, right? Everyone's just sort of enjoying the spoils.
Oh yes, I pass out in my mush.
Yeah, so if they're as the libations flow and the lips are loosened, you are more than welcome to ply Dalton and anyone else in the band for what you'd like to know or make a deal with or whatever.
Well, I'm curious about something, Dalton. I mean, first of all, your glass is empty, and this is a sin. So, he pulls it. All right, now that you're fixed,
Uh-huh.
I've got to know something because I'm really curious. I hate those little bastards who guard the entrance down there, and I'm just really curious. When we were leaving, and we fought the dust monster and everything. You saw that guy, right?
We did indeed, a fearsome beast.
We kicked its ass.
Whatever it was.
Afterwards, we on our way out, we were following your footsteps most of the way, but then we split off and we found our own way out. But did you get out? Did you have to go through the halflings, or did you find another way out? You can tell your old buddy.
There it is. I was wondering when that was going to be asked of me. You're a clever man, Avaricios. Well, Well, it is, as you well know, the entrances and the exits into and out of the halls are closely guarded secrets except for the pyramid. And we happen to have stumbled upon one. As he sort of drinks a little bit,
that.
He's like, this is actually a good opportune moment, I'd say, to ally ourselves for mutual exchange of information. Not exchange of information. I give you information. In return, you'll help us with our little halfling problem. They do none of us in the adventuring class any good. I speak for all of those out there who stumble upon them. Yes, Mr. Blackwood.
I slam my tankard down on the table and go, those halflings have to die. I've sworn a dwarven oath of vengeance upon Plumthorn, and I shall wear his ass as a hat. And then I belch and go back to eating.
So
he has.
Isidore is like the halfling thief that's in the party. He's sort of fading into the background. He's like away from the dwarf. All the rest of them cheer you. Like they're totally with you as well. Like no one likes them. They definitely would. They worry. They fear mostly the magic user that is with them, the man named Blondveg. Based upon what they saw whenever they were dealing with them in Plumthorn's private chambers, they're pretty convinced that Blondveg is concocting some sort of alchemy of some sort, some devastating sort of alchemy, and they're convinced that is what is the root of their power or the root of their wealth and why they're there, but they have not figured out exactly what that is. When Dalton tells you that, when the Darlings basically relate this to you amongst themselves, but that sort of triggers that memory you may have had, I think it was the second time you delved down into the debouchement where a goblin came stumbling out and was like grasping his throat, right, and then died horribly in front of you. So
been torturing him, we thought, but
point
thought maybe it was a potion or something.
Summing up, like the Darlings, they completely agree with you. They also don't think that they can take the halflings by themselves. They want allies. So Dalton tells you, if you're willing to help us with Monsieur Plumthorn, I would be happy to divulge the exit that we found in the ruined city. I can't say that it was exactly devoid of threats, but seemed we were able to handle it without much fuss.
I think that is an equitable arrangement, sir.
It is very much in line with what we were thinking. We hate those little guys, and we're very impressed with what you've been able to do. We're curious about this Blondvig guy and what he's up to.
Depends on what kind of information you want. If you just want the wholesale slaughter of the entire gang, I'm with you as well. That Blondvig gentleman, you never know. He might have interesting information.
I think we could possibly be induced to torture him a bit for information before finally slitting his throat, but I'm open to other options.
A goblin.
Chances are, if he's as learned as you say, he's probably less emotionally attached to the rest of the gang. And we probably can, by weakening them enough and putting him in a position where it's not worth his trouble, get him to abandon the halflings entirely.
Precisely my thinking, Master Blackhood. It is strange, I'm sure that you've noticed, that he is the lone human amongst a halfling gang. So it's obvious to me that they have brought him on, or he has chosen willingly to join them for something that they offer, or perhaps something that he offers them.
Well, the ability to reach the top shelf of the...
or that, yes.
Can I go over my little plan that we talked about on Discord, and then we'll see what Plumthorn has to say? Where I want to hire like a mercenary band, heavily armored, tower shields, etc., to pen them into their area with the portcullis. And then I think we should have a second band, and I tell them about the rough-hewn, badly stocked, or the badly constructed wall on the side. And while we're occupying them in the debauch room and hopefully whittling down their numbers, if we can catch them outside the room, a group of guys with heavy crossbows can probably put a hurt on them,
Classic pincer movement.
Dalton,
and then we send a second group around to destroy the rock wall and enter in from there as well.
Do you not feel that we could not handle it between the 10 of us? Is this not a job that the two bands could handle? I only mention it because, of course, we have strength in numbers. But the more people we have, the more we disturb the fragile ecosystem of Arden Vul, if you know what I mean.
Do you know how large their band is at any given time?
I don't, actually. In fact, I don't even know what the bounds of their territory are. They are in discrete chambers. You may have noticed, if you were able to peer through their portcullis, that they never take you on a tour. They take you into one room or another where there may be a few of them there. I myself could probably say I've seen 5 different halflings. 5 unique halflings.
Can we get that map up on Owlbear?
The map of what exactly?
We've probably seen as many as
the map of the debauch room.
Map of the debauch, indeed.
While we're doing that, I'm going to go check in a kid, and I'll be right back in a couple minutes.
Actually, why don't we just take a quick break, because I need to go do something as well.
We'll take a quick break, and we will be right back.
Cool, thank you.
I'm in the middle of my stuff, man.
Okay, everybody, we're back.
Sorry about that.
So let me switch over to Albert.
Right.
They had asked to see their map of level, the debauch level.
So Mike, I was talking to John about this, and I'm proposing that we actually get out the map, fold it in half, so we only are seeing the parts that we know the Daltons know about.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Lay it down on the table, and maybe they can fill in some blanks for us.
Yeah, maybe they've been to other rooms in the halfling lair that we haven't.
Right. We don't need to talk about the plunger room or the sort of, that circle of tombs and then the swamp room.
That's fine. So you can fold it in half and you basically move some plates out of the way and you lay it out on the table and they're like, oh, nice. Now
I will tell you that David already told them about the tentacle room.
He mentioned it, but I don't need to tell them where it is.
Right. But Helioglobius and him had a full-on conversation about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's
so
just
basically, you're showing them like the debouche and everything to the east of it.
correct.
And they are intrigued. Like the all six of them sort of like crowd them around their map. And they're like, "Oh yeah, okay." And they, especially the far eastern end of things, they can also verify. They're like, "Oh yeah, I remember that," because you basically were following their path there.
Right.
So yeah, when you asked about the halflings, so they were in only one room. So they were basically, if you follow my pointer here, they went through the portcullis. They were brought into through the portcullis like you,
Yeah.
but instead of being brought down to this room where you were explaining sort of the goblin incursion,
Yeah.
they were brought into this room. And I will describe
With the
that.
sarcophagus.
Yeah.
Oh right, of course, because they crossed the chasm from there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So that room, if it is going to be 30 feet east to west and 50 feet north to south, and it is a rectangle.
I'm going to do this in a different color to indicate that we haven't actually been there.
Yeah, that green is very light colored though.
Yeah, is it? Okay.
So they mentioned that this seemed to be like Plumthorn's main hangout. That's the vibe that they got, although they don't have any other rooms to compare it to. But this is sort of like where it looked like they dealt with, they made plans and things like that. And in the center of the room, they remember clearly that there were 3 stone sarcophagi that were long, like broken open and looted. And the Dalton assumes by the halflings themselves. Excuse me.
Bless you.
And what's interesting about, other than the sarcophagi, is that the far northeastern corridor, the far northeastern corner, was broken away and had fallen into the open chasm, creating an actual view of the open chasm. That is where, and then a temporary barricade was erected, and that is where you guys had your conversation with Plumthorn from across the chasm.
So where I drew the line is not quite accurate.
No, where you were drawing the line was just sort of drawing to that room in general.
Okay.
But you were having the conversation with them in the northeastern corner.
Northeastern corner. Something. Oh, wait. I want to do this. Something like.
Yep.
That?
Yep. Perfect. Yeah.
Okay, great.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And that's the only room they were in. 3 sarcophaguses, but that's where Plumthorn hangs out?
Yeah, so that's what it appears to be, like where both Roz Kelly and Plumthorn lived or worked or something like that. So they had erected a 3-foot tall parapet of debris, which that's why you only saw like only part of them with your infravision, Gorand, right? And there's also there were some stores there. They remembered that there was 2 large casks there. They actually had several sides of like curing meat. Like looked to be like deer sides that were actually in there as well. A whole bunch of bags. Some of them were open. Dalton remembers seeing that there are a couple of turnips and apples and potatoes were like spilling out of them. Yeah, that basically seems to be it. Oh no, this is actually key. There was a wooden chest there with iron straps that caught all of the Dalton's eyes. That was sort of tucked away into a corner.
Well, that's where they've been storing all of the stuff they steal from us.
Those swine.
It was quite large.
Okay. Is he willing to now show us on this map the route that they took?
He wants to get a firm plan first before he's going to divulge anything. Basically, you need to like so they want this is what he's saying that he wants. Basically, it's like he's not just going to put his men and himself at risk just to get rid of them. Like he wants to make sure that he gets something out of it as well. Right.
Oh yeah, we've got to figure out what to do with the loot of the stuff that they stole from us.
Well, for one thing, he wants the contents of that chest.
Exclusively.
He wants the contents of that chest, and he also, if they determine that Blondveg is actually concocting some sort of alchemical solution or something like that. Whatever thing he's making in there, Dalton wants to have first dibs on. Like, he's not saying he's going to take it all, but he definitely wants like the group's fair share of that, and he wants to be able to pick what he wants first.
Well, what about this? Go ahead, Ted.
Well, I was going to say counterpoint. We, as far as that wooden chest is concerned, we found a lot of stuff with one of your guys here, and he got his fair share of what we found. We did not keep everything exclusively.
Oh,
I think
Ghost, you might be the richest of the entire Darlings. I didn't realize that.
So I think, first choice, second choice, back and forth, that might be a way we could approach this. But I think, at least as far as coin goes, we should split things. All interested parties, everyone's there is taking a piece of it. Everyone's incurring the risk the same. Your personal exit that you've determined from the dungeon, that's another matter. That is your exclusive territory, as it were. But as far as the 10 of us walking, or 13 of us, I guess, walking into a room and fighting halflings, everybody incurs the same risk.
I understand. The thing is, I won't. It's not necessary for me to take the risk at all. You see, it's only my personal hatred for the halflings that is.
Well, likewise, really.
But I have my own interests. I don't have to pay the tax.
Well, here's something that I was thinking, and forgive me if I'm speaking out of turn. It's just an idea I had in myself. Those halflings had a pretty good business there, right? I mean, they were assholes. Yes, this is true, but they have a pretty good business model. Adventurers come in, they pay a little something, they give a little tithe.
Very canny.
What if? Because I don't think it is right for us. What if you were to take over that little business operation? What if, instead of just one chest of coin, we split that like anybody would, as you find things, you split it up. But you and your Darlings, this could be a base of operations. You could have that business. Maybe we could just get a free pass. Going forward, that would make us happy.
He holds his goblet back. He holds his goblet back to be refilled by a servant as he kind of puts like a finger on his lips, and you see like in both ears, Yvette, who is the cleric of Debelaton, and then Heliogabalus, both are sort of whispering to him as he's just sort of like reclining back on his pillows, sort of just thinking, he's like, now that is an interesting proposition, he says.
I mean, I suppose we would be more inclined to forego the contents of the chest if it meant that we had free passage through the area.
Oh, no, that's not what I said, my friend. That's the wine.
No, that's not what he's saying at all.
We split that, and then we're giving him the future. We're taking our share of the present and the past, whatever. But he can have the future. That is the unopened. That is the bottomless chest. That is Arden Vul, my friend. That is what you want.
I like this a great deal. It'd provide us a foothold to do further explorations while all of the time accepting this passive income from other adventurers. I'm not above it. I kind of like it. My one reservation is I know that the Plumthorn gang has some sort of relationship with Kronos and Estelle back at the end of the Broken Head. Should that be disrupted, it would be quite a shame should we lose our relationship with the Broken Head. They are a bastion of safety in a very dangerous area.
I wouldn't worry. Kronos is a businessman, and businesses change. As long as he gets continued operation, whatever it is, he'll be happy.
What if
that they make those under new management signs for a reason.
We can get one here in Gosterwick made for you.
We have a bunch of capable people here, but I worry that the ability to produce whatever it is that Blanveg is producing will be beyond our ken. We could certainly, it's a problem. I'm not sure. It would be dependent upon us seeing what is going on down there, I suppose.
Well, I had a thought on that also. I mean, I wonder, Blondveg, if he's doing anything, if he's a well-educated magic guy, he's got to have some ties here. There's got to be something that he either comes here for, or people who know him from here. Nobody just sprouts up like a mushroom inside Arden Vul. They
Indeed.
come through Gosterwick and they make their way there. Somebody here has to know him, his background, what he might be looking for.
Possibly.
I mean, he would do research before going there, right? And there's a few places where that can happen. We should look into this.
I like it so far. All right, so let's hammer it out. Should we agree to this to help you with the halflings, the Dalton's Darlings would then take over the operation and their controlled territory, while at the same time providing you free access to the debouchement on that level, and except for, of course, our claimed territory, which would be the halflings, correct? And then we would also share the contents of any treasure that we find in the halflings' territory before the Darlings take over. Am I understanding this correctly?
Yes.
I think
And I would say that although you have incredible arcane scholars at your disposal, we ourselves also do. So I would suggest a meeting of the minds, as it were, to unravel the mysteries of Blondevic's research.
I would like nothing more, says Heliogabalus as he looks over at Onweir with a knowing look. He's already made like a couple of overtures to like talk to Onweir in private about such matters. I'm sure Onweir probably also would agree. Don't want to speak for him.
I don't think David. I'm gonna use my mental acuity here to predict what David would want. Is it evil? Is it chaotic? Will it cause chaos? Will it cause us problems somewhere down the line? Yes. He's
Done.
in.
Right.
Done.
All right. So he basically turns over to the Darlings and says, like, what say you folks? Are we in on this venture? And they're all like, yeah. So they're like, let's drink to it. A new venture. And they scorn the notion of like actually having like a written contract, but they Dalton claims like agreements like this set over like such a fine meal are basically binding, right? So it's official now, right? Like you're in business with these guys. Are the terms clear? I just want to make, with you players, are the terms clear?
Yes, and I would just like to get a little bit better read on why he doesn't want like a big group of mercenaries going down there to.
That's his next. That's what he actually bring up next.
Too,
So he's of the mind that he's perfectly willing to admit that he does not know how many halflings there are. Based on what he's seen, he doesn't think there's that many, and he thinks that the 10 of all of us, could handle it. But he does like your plan, which is much more of like a military strategy, right, with multiple fronts and stuff like that. And the thought of it, of like coming in full force, but really, sneakily, you know what I mean? Like multiple different fronts and all that kind of stuff is very appealing to him. So he says to you, he's like, so tell me more about these mercenaries you have in mind. Exactly what sort of men and women are we talking about here?
All right. If I can find dwarves, because they're perfect for this kind of work, I will absolutely try and find them. However, my idea was 20 mercenaries total, 10 with tower shields, heavily armored, 10 with heavy crossbows behind them. We form a circular ring around the portcullis chamber for them, penning them in, perhaps bringing a winch on a large iron chain to haul that portcullis down. Although if that's going to be your new territory, maybe you don't want us destroying their defenses. Possibly a couple large casks of oil rolled down the hallway and set on fire. Any halflings that come out to meet us will meet the fury of the crossbowmen. And while their eyes are on us, your detachment or whoever decides to go, can circle around to this room with this poorly constructed wall and enter the base from there.
And we're talking about here. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I actually thought it was in the spider room.
it is.
It doesn't.
Yeah, that's
it
the
doesn't look
spider
like
room.
This is the
There's a
wall.
little red bit there.
Gotcha.
Zoom in on it.
And
that was
Dalton, if
the bricked in door that we found. Yeah.
Yep, right here.
Dalton, if you have Well, I know you do. You have an entrance that the halflings are not unaware of. That's the team who goes through that entrance to go through that back door. They're all occupied. They're busy with the people in the main room. The second contingent goes through your entrance, goes through this brick wall, and they're surrounded.
So a strike force, not bringing in the hired mercenaries, you're saying?
No, I don't think the mercenaries need to enter the base. They just need to pin down the halflings.
That's what I like.
All right.
At the portcullis.
Two obvious problems I see right now is that this entire area here is unmapped.
Yes.
We don't know.
True.
We can make assumptions, probably likely true, but we don't know. So I assume that you're saying that because of our escape route that we found, that you're asking us, the Darlings, to come to this back room via that entrance.
I would argue that the mercenaries who we don't expect to enter through the portcullis and are at that spot, and everyone else comes the other way. It's a strong strike force.
Yeah, we use the hired help as the main distraction in that debauch room, and we all sneak around the back.
I see.
Probably at least one or two of us need to be with the mercenary group so that Plumthorn knows that it's us and that we've come for revenge, right? Take us a little bit more seriously. Would be my thought. And I'm perfectly willing to stay with the mercenary group.
The other issue, of course, as you know, Master Blackhood, is that dwarves are extremely are not well known in Gosterwick. There are very few of them in town. Castledor, the nearest dwarf home, is many, many miles to the west. I don't know if you come from there or not, but they so rarely leave their mountain fastnesses. To find an actual mercenary team of dwarves would probably require going all the way to Castledor. Certainly,
or
not
at least looking, lowering your eye line down. Maybe they're all around us and you don't even know.
Consider the many advantages of a band of goblins.
Goblins would work too.
Yes.
Still,
they can be in the dark.
I don't know if you've noticed, but this isn't your typical fantasy realm where there's just an equal number of strange beings just wandering around as humans. But no, Gosterwick is heavily weighted towards us lowly humans.
Well, obviously, it will take what we can get.
Now that
did originally move. Oh, okay.
I'm sorry, Master Gordon, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but this is a town that attracts adventurers. That is the one thing that most towns do not have, but which Gosterwick has in abundance, which is adventurers. It may behoove you, or I could also help you in this endeavor to perhaps see if there is a band of adventuring dwarves. That might be something, but it wouldn't be a lot of troops. They wouldn't be mercenaries per se, but I have seen a number of dwarves attached to adventuring bands, and some that are in small, tight units as well. I think my suspicion is that there's something in Arden Vul that the dwarves of Castledor are looking for, which is the reason why there are more here than you would find in most other places in Burdock.
At that point, I kind of lean back and I kind of keep myself to myself and be like, well, I can't possibly know what that would be.
You Gorn, don't.
I know I don't.
Yeah.
I know I don't, John.
No, I would tell you. I would tell you if you did.
I'm playing the part. I'm playing the part of
I thought
an elder race that has more knowledge than these, dirty humans.
Gotcha. I thought you were prompting me to let you know if there was something. You have heard no rumors about that.
No.
But about what they may be seeking or not seeking or whatever. But what he says about Castledor is very, very true, though. They are extremely insular. And you're from there, Gorn, so you know that most of the reason that they are so insular is because they are fighting what they call the Endless War, which is a war in the underground fastnesses of Castledor against doppelgangers, actually, which is the reason why the dwarves of Castledor specifically are so paranoid all the time and so unwilling to show their true face to people, is because the enemy that they're fighting looks like them. They can't even trust their own brother because they don't know if that brother is actually them. It's if you kind of extrapolate what a war against doppelgangers would look like, you can imagine how horrific it would actually be. And so that is what lends them their what everyone assumes is just sort of like a racial trait, but it's totally not. Like that has been developed in them through all of these centuries of this long war that they're fighting underneath there. It also prevents them, of course, from actually doing a lot of traveling because they're so involved in that war.
Right.
But also makes them tough sons of bitches. Tough. You also know that Dalton knows something about dwarves because he immediately pegs you as a clanless dwarf because of your last name, which is not a stone name.
Right.
The clan hierarchy, like the higher echelon of dwarven society, always has like a stone for their clan name. You do not.
Right. Bastards.
Poor bastard. I'm sorry.
I know, man. Hey, I'm gonna make my own clan.
We'll get you a name, my friend. We will get you one. Don't worry.
Cool. So anyway, but yeah. So I still want to have enough people in that debauch room, and adventurers is fine. But my only concern about an adventurer versus a mercenary band is that adventurers are going to want equal shares, probably. A
or
mercenary, I can be like,
or something in trade.
I can be like, right. Mercenary, I can be like, you're making 10 gold today. This is your job. Shoot arrows at those halflings, right? Like it's like a per diem kind of thing, and I can give them a bonus on top of that if the treasurer merits it. But I mean, we're talking like a day to get there, a day to fight, a day to come back, right? And I don't know what the cost is for mercenaries offhand, but
right. Well, that's it. Basically, it comes down to a decision. It's either you get mercenaries who are human.
Mm-hmm.
Or you have the chance, if you're set on having dwarves, which I do readily admit would be very, very capable within the halls, then you're looking at a tight band, if at all. You would, once again, I'm not exactly sure if there is a band around.
Well, I'll try and recruit. I'll look for dwarves. I came here from, what was the name of that city again?
Castledor.
I traveled here from Castledor to work with my uncle. And then that was extremely tedious, so I decided to go try my luck at Arden Vul.
Cool.
So I do know some dwarves in town.
That's fine.
I would very much like this. I think we should get the band of 7 dwarves, and we should try to remember all of their names.
Oh, cool.
So the other thing that Dalton is just, like, since you're feasting there together, he also expresses his concern, although he sort of brushes it off, but you can see it sort of bugging him, is that what he heard back at the Inn of the Broken Head, that the Knights of the Azure Shield are looking for them, that they're wanted. They're still a little bit worried about that. Like, they feel pretty safe here at the Stunned Acolyte, but they are a little bit leery about just sort of wandering about town. The Knights usually don't.
I will go and investigate that tomorrow.
Yeah, maybe while we're doing our things.
Tomorrow, sure.
Yeah. Okay, so that's a deal. You're gonna ally with Dalton's Darlings, and they're gonna
yes.
if successful, the halflings will be gone. Dalton will step in, and
so you'll be okay with the second entrance plan?
Yes, yeah, that's fine. So
okay.
You guys want to go in through his hidden entrance?
Yeah.
Would you like to hear about that now, or do you want to just be like, we'll wait till we're actually doing the mission?
Oh, let's hear about it now. I mean,
we're here. I don't care.
I wanted to hear a little bit now.
Okay, so let's go.
I mean, it's a show of good faith.
That's right. Let me get the map of the ruined city up here, which he opens up a cruder version of this, which they have made with missing a lot of landmarks, right? Probably similar to something that you have. And let me get my own map here so I correctly say this. Boop, boop, boop. Okay. So, let me get up here. Sorry, 1 second. All right, so he tells you that not too far away from where your two paths diverge, like past that Dust Devil room, right? They found a stairways that led up, and they arrived, and what they ended up discovering was actually the basement of a priest complex, which was directly to the west of the pyramid. Right. Yeah.
Oh, that is almost what we found, isn't it?
Okay.
We were in the one that's just sort of to the next to that, right?
you were right on the northwestern side. You were right here.
That stuff. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, we're gonna be buddies. Look at that.
You'll be neighbors. The way he describes the staircase, and it went up from the debouchement level, right up to the surface. Appears to be much shallower than the one that you went down. Right. Okay. Here I'm talking about, right? This one.
That's ours. Right.
Yeah, where you went down, grabbed the Imperial field plate, and went back up. Excuse me. And then, okay. What does he tell you
Which
about?
Av is still wearing, right?
Hmm?
You still have that?
Yeah, I still have that.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, so they said that basically there was so it's basically a ruined complex where it looks like there was like a lot of the servitors and low level priests of Thoth were basically housed in dormitories and stuff like that. Was what the ruins of this building generally were. There is one building that still stands, a small one, and they came up through the basement of that building. And they saw some strange things down there. Now, they were running as fast as they possibly could, so they did zero explanation down there in that basement of that building. However, what did they find here? Give me a sec. One moment, sorry.
No problem. I can see where it'd be difficult for the Daltons to relive these emotional and traumatic experiences.
Indeed.
Have another drink. Eat these grapes.
Okay, so
the monkey brains.
They said they came up in the northern part of this basement, and basically they went through a room and went basically made a beeline south through a corridor as fast as they possibly could. They heard strange buzzing off to the side early on. They didn't investigate. They weren't accosted, but Dalton tells you that they did see a set of bare human footprints, definitely human, that led to a room where they heard very creepy, intermittent sounds of a single person vacillating between laughing and sobbing at the same time. Yvette, the cleric, also confirms that. She's like, yes, it was a man. It was the voice of a man gone mad. Someone who cannot control his emotions, she says. So there are people or some sort, who knows, corporeal or non, that is dwelling in that basement. There are probably dangers lurking. However, we did find that the path directly to the exit was a straight line that led to the spiral staircase that led down to the debouchement. That is where we exited from. Should we not hesitate? Should we be
down to the debouchement?
Yes. We rose up a spiral staircase that led to this basement, at which point we exited out of that basement.
Oh, okay, I see, right. So basically when our paths diverged, they essentially took a straight line to a spiral staircase and went up.
Yes.
They saw a bunch of shit or heard a bunch of shit, but they didn't interact with any of it. They just went straight and up.
Indeed, yes. We exited out of a wide staircase that led up to the ruins on the surface. That staircase within a very large chamber with many, many pillars. However, back where we emerged from the depths of Arden Vul, we passed through a door and immediately stepped into one of. I'm sure you must have stumbled upon them. These rings, these stone rings that have a certain square inset next to them, as if you were supposed to place something in them. We haven't quite. Heliogabalus, have you done any more research on what those might be? Perhaps I have, Dalton. Perhaps I haven't. He says.
He's a sly one. I see what you're doing there.
Well played, wizard.
That poor bastard keeps his secrets close to the chest. We might have a talk about that at some point in the future. But needless to say, there is definitely one of those there as well. But yes, there was a straight corridor, basically running the length of the basement from north to south. We crossed through giant double doors. That's where we saw the bare footprints. Didn't investigate. Entered into the great pillared hall, then went up the stairs to the blessed fresh air above.
Okay. All right. So I think I understand. Okay, so basically, Mr. Dalton, what would you estimate the chances of effectively reversing your course with our bands, our mixed bands, and returning to the Dust Devil room and the spider chasm there?
Well, as I said, I don't think that the route is without danger. We were just lucky. We were running as fast as we could.
Yes.
So I'm not going to pretend and say that it's just going to be a cakewalk all the way back to that area, to the chasm area. From the stories that Yost has told us, and you have told us as well, it looks like the Dust Devil, as you call it, has been quelled.
Potentially.
But there is still the threat, perhaps, of strange beasts coming out of that chasm, perhaps. Your stories of spiders, that sends a shiver through my spine, certainly.
You didn't see them.
We saw the webs. We were not disturbed, though. We crossed over the chasm quite quickly.
What killed your henchman over by the statue?
Over by the statue. Which statue? I'm sorry.
In the spider room, there was a statue and a mashed henchman.
Oh, right. That is actually a really good question. Let me just look it up myself to make sure I'm not telling you the wrong thing.
If he says suicide, I'm not going to buy it.
Whoa. Sorry. 1 second. As I move the map around.
He didn't want to be a Dalton no more.
It just while he's looking, one other thing that we can maybe throw out is, without getting into the details of it, we do have a way with that cloak to send a spy in early and check out that room and map out, see where that, fill in the blank spaces of that map, so that we know what to expect and we aren't going in blind. Somebody could go in there invisible, check it out.
Or we have a potion still, I think, that might be like a gaseous form type potion or something. We didn't get it identified.
So he tells you that, he goes, I'm sure you noticed the large statue of Thoth that stood in the middle of the room. Well, of course, us being adventurers, we couldn't help but fuss and muss with it a bit. So we were raising arms in different poses and such, and can't remember exactly what pose that Yvette put the arms in, but at one point a hidden door actually slid open, and much to our dismay, one of the what we've been terming the guardians of Thoth stepped forward, an actual living being that looked like one of those frescoes that you've seen on the walls of a kilted man with a ibis head, stormed out and killed poor what was their name? Cassandra.
Cassandra, right?
She was a henchwoman.
You really care about your people, and we know this. We appreciate it.
So, I'm sorry. Did you say you played with its arms and a door in the wall opened? And
indeed. Yvette steps in. She's like, I can tell you exactly what I did. It was directly north of the eastern door. One of the two in the eastern door, the further north of the two eastern doors. Let me get them. She whips out the map again. Let's get that up here so we can show people. Sorry. 1 second, folks. Ridiculously spines. Here's the room we're talking about. So they ask you if you remember seeing that there was 3 panels that were on the walls. Mm-hmm. You have them labeled here. I see, Ted. So there's one here, right? The baboon that's clubbing a crocodile.
Frescoes.
Yes. So what room was that? That was that one.
Spider room.
All right. So she remembers when she rose both of the arms up into the air. Both of them at the same time, at the same level. That the fresco that depicted the baboon clubbing a crocodile opened, actually. And one of these guardians of Thoth actually stepped through.
Okay.
She also makes it very clear to you. She tells you Do not mistake what we're describing as a animated statue. These were flesh and blood creatures that looked exactly like a fleshly version of what you see on those statues of depicting Thoth. Terrifying. It crushed Cassandra's head with a single blow as the rest of us fled from across the chasm.
And did it attack immediately, or did it kind of pause to see?
Without hesitation. The moment the panel opened, it stepped through and seized the first person that was in its way. That was poor Cassandra. Thankfully, thankfully, just a henchwoman.
And if I could just clarify, because maybe Yost said this and I didn't understand. In the hall where you all and Yost was separated, was it a similar creature that came out, or was it the actual statue guardians that were there?
No, so that's what she's trying to point out. Those were statue guardians.
Okay.
They were animated statues, right? This was was a creature that looked like a depiction of Thoth.
Just living inside the wall.
Uh-huh.
Weird.
Yeah.
Ibby with human legs. Yeah, I get it. Oh, Ibby. Oh.
It's great. Scottish. He wears a kilt and his head. I don't understand.
Pretty spindly in shape. It had a white ibis head. Arms ended in claw-like hands. And what they remember too was the mind-twisting shriek that it let out, that it emitted the moment that it emerged into the light. Terrifying.
Yeah. Okay. So let's not do that again, right?
Both arms up. No, we're not going.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. When you were moving the arms around, did any other positions do anything cool?
It was actually the first thing that I attempted to do. So
okay, that was a poor choice.
I raised them both up. However, they do note that it came out of a fresco that was painted in a certain manner, and that there were two other frescoes. So they suspect that if you maneuver the arms in different, that.
Right.
Yeah.
Query: the position you put the arms in, same as the position you have to put the arms in at the top of the pyramid to get into the door?
That's a good question. I don't know, actually.
I can't remember that either. What's the top of the pyramid position? Both up?
As I recall.
Go
looking to find it, but that's my memory.
That is actually correct, yes. Yeah, I'm looking at it right here.
Oh, so there's no consistency amongst the arms. God dang it.
Well, I mean, it opens the doorway to your doom. So that's consistent.
Doom-based, you're talking. Well, that makes sense then. Yeah. Okay. That's no way to run a religion. Okay.
Wait. No, I'm wrong. No. Okay, so in order to get down to the pyramid, you're actually setting both arms parallel.
Okay.
Sorry, my bad. I read it wrong.
Gotcha. Okay. So up, up might still be bad. And definitely not something we want to do there.
Okay.
Let's keep going.
Okay. So are you done with dealing with Dalton? That's all settled? We're good with the plan? Okay.
Yep.
So what else do you want to do?
I do have one question. Mike, whether you thought of this or not, if we send 20 or whatever mercenaries down the stairs and they go up to the little portcullis there, are we going to time our attack?
We're just going to start the attack and distract them, and you guys make your way over there,
right?
Until you can get it down. You're also going to have to figure out how to get the wall down.
Right. So here's what I'm wondering: when we've been in the tunnels, John, and we were at the chasm and yelling across the chasm at the halflings and so on.
Mm-hmm.
How well does sound carry? Like if we brought a hunting horn down with us and at the point that we break open the brick wall, if we blew the hunting
horn. You know what, guys? Do not worry. I've got it. I have a way that we can take the whole wall down in complete silence. They will not hear it.
Well, I'm not worried about the silence of the wall. I'm worried about signaling to the mercenaries that we are about to start our
that's what. Okay.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's as important, Ted, because we're just going to be doing our gig, right? We're not coordinating the attack. We're going to have the attack ongoing so that we're drawing all of them to us. He silences the wall coming down. you guys hopefully could get behind a bunch of them and kill a bunch of them before they even know you're there.
So
what I'm worried about is you guys start the attack at the portcullis, and Blondveg has time to cook up a response, and comes out with some sort of alchemical fire hose, and we aren't even behind him yet.
Right.
You guys all melt, and then we show up, and there's no distraction anymore.
So the Daltons say that the whole thing is contingent upon like knowing what is in those blank spaces on the map. They are, you know what I mean, like the notion of sound carrying and making signal and making sure that you're timing everything correctly. They're just very worried about that aspect of it. And Dalton encourages like he's down with just going in blind, like relatively blind, like with the map that you have, because the map is very, very good. But he's just saying these spots, and he puts his finger down on that spot on the map. If we can get that, if we just know what's there, then we can actually cook up like a really solid plan, you know.
All right, maybe we maybe it's because I think we have a way to do this because we are very crafty. Maybe that chest isn't exactly 50-50. Maybe it's like 55-45, something like that. I mean, we can work out the details later, but I think we might be able to get some more details on this map.
He wants to make it clear that he's good to go. He's just saying, like, if you're worried about that kind of stuff, then discovering like what the holes are, then it's probably a good idea.
Well, it would benefit us too, quite frankly, because we also want to kill more of them than they kill of us.
Cool.
And I just think it's fair to say that Mort is an imperial goblin. He's been in the legions, and he's used to horns and trumpets and signal flags and coordinated plans, very Arcantian and Roman.
You would of all the PCs, you would probably be the most likely to be like in charge. Like you would know how to order people around in large formations like this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he has that fancy voice.
Yes, it's true.
Now, would dwarves follow your orders? Absolutely fucking not.
No, they would. Hence my suggestion: we hire goblins.
That would be the safest bet. Even some humans, depending on their predilections, may balk at you. But you're walking the walk and talking the talk, and you're looking the look. So.
Yes, well armed and armored.
Okay.
All right. Well, I think we've got enough of a plan for everyone to drink some more and just relax.
Yeah, there's other stuff that you need to do. So, like the grand plan of the assault can wait till next time or whatever. Yeah. But what else do you? So the feast goes on. It's great. You guys have logged the money expenditure.
Yep.
Okay, great. And we can call it the next day, right? And then you're going to do your business. Okay. So real quickly.
All right, so one before the next day, I want to roll the healing spell that I didn't use. I want to heal myself up.
Okay.
So
because you should be cured by now, right? You're cured.
Yeah, I'm cured, so I don't have to worry about it failing.
Right.
What do we got here? D6 plus 1.
Yeah, so let me roll that real quick.
I'm ready.
Okay, come on. D6. Roll.
Oh. Dice are pretty hot tonight. That's pretty good. Great. So that's a 6.
Bad. That's a 6. Yeah.
So 7. So you're full, right?
What is that? That's 6 plus 8. That's 14 almost.
Okay. So
but when I wake up in the morning, I will be, because I'll get one.
Now you guys go to bed in the Stun Acolyte in the suite, and man, you guys have the best sleep of your life. You could wake up extremely refreshed. So if anyone, you guys all gain 1 hit point from the night's rest if you're down.
Yes.
Now in the morning, let's do a quick weather check. Who wants to roll for weather?
I'll do it. I haven't rolled for weather in a while.
Go for it.
Okay, I'm rolling 2d6 and getting the total of 5.
5, a brisk, clear day. So there you go.
Nice.
Let me just write that
Perfect
down.
day for Mort to head off to Wick Trimmers to arrange for some sales of goods.
Let's
okay.
before you do that. We had discussed this. Av is going to cast Detect Magic, so we're going to look at.
Yeah, might as well do that first. Sure.
Yeah, all of our stuff out in a big pile.
Sure. So, what would you like to? So, are you?
Okay.
How many of these are you memorizing?
Well, doesn't Detect Magic detect like a space?
Yeah. So Detect Magic, it's just going to show.
Yep, you can do that.
permanent and temporary enchantments. So any of our stuff that's magic is going to glow, and we'll be able to tell. So
okay,
if
so
we just
let me ask you that: which spells are you memorizing today?
Okay. Sorry, I'm going to do detect magic, cure light wounds, just in case. Those are my first levels, and second level spells like a boss. Speak with animals.
Okay.
And
I mean, the dwarf does speak common.
Ouch. Why am I taking this abuse?
Dave is not here. What's the other one?
It was speak with animals and silence.
Silence. Okay, very good. All right, so
first you speak with the animal, and then you're like, "Shut up."
I don't want to hear it.
All right. You collect all the items in the middle of your suite, and you're like, and and things start to glow. So what glows? Everything that you already knew, obviously.
Right.
So we'll just skip those.
Right. So we've got 2 rings and 2 torques we found in that secret tomb room with the dead priests that we had to burn.
Okay, so let me look at the mundane loot on your chart here. So the rings and the torques are... Where did you find those?
So do you recall inside the sort of ring of lots of little niches, and we found a secret door in a niche, we went in and there were 2 ghouls in there and we burned them up?
Yeah.
Believe that's where the rings and torques were from.
Okay.
Where the spear is, right?
Where the spear still is, yeah.
Those are not magical, but I do not have the value of those offhand.
Okay, fine.
Yeah.
And then we had a jade necklace and a jade scepter.
Those are both non-magical.
And the signet ring.
That is non-magical, but that did have like significant writing on it.
Right. So then that leaves
the panther statue
and the brass key. Yeah.
Both are non-magical.
Okay.
Okay. Mundane loot.
Everything in a vial is magical.
Yep.
What about the? We have a couple of holy symbols. There was a pendant of Set, and there was the one of Thoth.
Those are both non-magical.
Okay.
Although you have seen them affect things that appear to be magical in nature, right? But
sure. Well, it's the faith stuff.
Yeah.
And I don't suppose the purple silk purse full of Laryl's ashes turned up as magic.
No, it is not.
Okay.
Yeah.
How about the dagger we pulled off of Cassandra's body? In the spider room that we were just talking about.
That one I have to check. Non-magical.
Okay.
Laryl's love letters are also non-magical. The scroll...
Any magic on Laryl's ashes?
No.
They're in the purse, so
yeah, those are not magical. Obviously, all the scrolls in the spell books are magical.
Does the plunger show up as magic?
No, it does not actually.
Okay. Interesting. Okay, I think that covers everything that we know about.
Is everything? Yeah.
So we really had everything down already.
Yeah, which is good for you. It's good for your wallet.
Yeah. Well, I was really sort of hoping that those rings were magic, but okay.
Okay.
So
I was going to say that David would have likely have memorized read magic, but he can't because he doesn't have a spell book, which is kind of a bummer.
Oh, by the way, just to be a jerk to Ted, what about that pouch?
You fucking bad.
That's magical.
Oh, it's still magical.
It looks like we'll just give it to you. It used to be magical. Ted has a note. Ted has a note on the spreadsheet that says ruined.
Right there.
Yeah, and you're giving me shit for being short. I love that.
I'm short too.
Okay. So you can see all this stuff is basically probably worth not an insignificant amount of cash, but none of it is actually magic items. Let me just double check. Was there any magic items that you didn't hit?
Did the golden apple turn up as magic?
You know what you do? Well, one thing that you know is magical the 2 things you know are magical that are just not in the room with you are Manweeper and Njaal's axe.
Right.
I would love to get those identified just so we know. I mean, especially Njaal's, right? plus that man weeper, like, that could be maybe something really good for a goblin who likes to stab things.
Nope. Goblins can't carry Rancers. I picked it up. I had it in hand, and then I discovered under the rules that I can't use it.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, at least the axe that Niall is carrying, then, and we can decide about the other one. But.
Yeah, that is a two-handed battle axe, and it looked like it had old blood stains along the beard of it.
I think that would be worth an identify. Do you guys agree?
How much was the identify again?
200.
It was 200. But everything else from that Hall of Heroes where that thing came from was just awesome.
It's true.
Like that was a major loot hole in that room.
Goblins do not use strength as a prime requisite. A Rancer requires specialized, so I couldn't. That's why I couldn't use it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not even sure Sam can use it, honestly, but probably
Sam can use it.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So we have various valuable artifacts that are not in liquid form. They're still things like pendants and scepters and stuff.
Yes.
I would like, if everybody's fine with this, I think we should sell them and deposit the cash.
Yes. The only addendum to that would be anything that might be a potential story item, like that signet ring.
Yeah, I think we agree on that.
I'm talking about the 2 rings, the 2 torques. We do have gems. We have a jade necklace and a jade scepter. Maybe we keep the golden apple. I don't, that's only 35 gold. I'm not worried about that one. And then we've got, like I said, a bunch of Arcantian silver that is worth a lot more than its, single silver piece value.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing that, because I imagine this is going to be like a day of business, right? So I'll be training with Niall. One other thing that I think would be good to do, we got a lead last time that those letters from Laryl.
Yeah.
Taking those to the bookseller guy, like the rare bookkeeper guy.
You guys didn't get to this part by the end of last episode, and I don't know if you guys saw as I was listening on the train, like texting madly on the Discord. Those strike me as a possibility of perhaps this is too much notoriety for us, but we could auction something like that and go with the highest bidder thing and probably make way more than that guy's going to offer us in cash. So I don't feel any rush to sell them. Like
as long as we're not short of money, I don't mind just leaving them.
We're not short of money. Right now,
technically, you're always short on money. I'm sorry.
Oh,
hey now.
Right now, we've still got 1,800 cash. Plus, we have another 3,000 gold pieces worth of jewels, and more than 1,000 gold pieces worth of other stuff we could sell.
Okay, so why don't we just go? You want to liquidate right now, right? That's the first thing, right?
If it's, I don't want to hold the story up. So if we could just go ahead and move ahead and do other things and carouse, assume that we've liquidated some things.
Yeah, I'm just
letting
you know
the numbers later.
Yeah, that's fine. So basically, what you do is you go first thing in the morning. You're going to go all the way up to the upper city, to the upper market, and you're going to go to Jeremias, the money changer, which is right here.
Right, and we've got to deal with him too, right?
Yeah. So this is something that the Dalton's Darlings are going nowhere with you around there because that is in the upper market, which is do you see it, how it has this wall, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you have to, it's like the really high end sort of stuff, right? So and it's so close to the Azure Keep that they're going nowhere near there, because they're worried about the knights.
Right.
But anyways, you go to Jeremias, who is a cheerful but very venal halfling, and you've got the deal from Eusebia where she will cover the fee for money changing. All right. So. Right. All of those listed values are liquidated exactly as listed,
Great.
And we'll note that off camera. But you get a substantial amount of money. Okay. So we
can afford to go carousing, is what I'm getting at.
You could definitely afford to go carousing. Now, what you do with that coin is an issue, right? So, like how you want it broken down, that sort of thing, and then like where you're putting it is a thing. Now you have Wick Trimmer who will hold cash, right?
Right.
So is that the assumption, is that you're basically getting a shit ton of coin, then you're going to be escorted down to the rarities factor, which is right here?
That is more or less my assumption, is that we would turn all that stuff into coin and take it to Wick Trimmer and deposit it until we need it because we've gone carousing.
Okay, cool. So you get a heap load of coins, like a ton, and you go down to the rarities factor and you basically dump all that stuff off. And let me just find out which one is Wick Trimmer's place. It's going to be 20, it looks like. Give me a second. Not 20. Where are you?
Yeah, the rarities factor.
Yeah.
Next to the grain hall, right?
Yeah, I just need to find the actual number here on the thing.
All right. So,
Oh, I see.
now, when you go to the rarities factor,
Okay.
you knew this from last time whenever you set up business there. You never saw Wick Trimmer. You heard about him, right?
Right. Okay.
The what do you call it? The clerks in the office and stuff like that say Wick Trimmer actually wants to talk to you, and they look almost awed in the fact that they had to actually give you that information, right?
Okay.
So you're led up to an office, and you meet the very famous, the notorious Wick Trimmer. Wick Trimmer is a goblin. He's an imperial goblin. I don't know if you were told that or not. I'm not sure if we said
I
that.
think I knew that. That doesn't shock me.
So he is dressed in long robes. He's wearing slippered feet. He has very sparse hair, but that he meticulously sort of oils back on the back of his head. Very, very sharp pointed ears with tufts of hair on the very end of it. And he has a pointed chin, that basically the hook of his nose almost meets the point of his chin as well, right? But
Nice.
he has
I will greet him in the language of our people.
He actually talks to you first. He makes eye contact with you as well, and he says some sort of goblin phrase that only you guys would know, like imperial goblin to imperial goblin. But
And then we both look at the dwarf and chuckle.
he gets right down to business, and he's very, very sort of straight down the line with you guys, and he tells you he's like, well, I've heard rumors in town, as I often do, about certain items that were found and identified that are now in your possession. He says,
What items would those be, oh Wick Trimmer?
let's not beat around the bush. You have found the rare artifacts that belong to one lair of One Eye. I can tell you with great certainty that no one in this town desires them more than I do. However, I am not the kind of man, not the kind of goblin to just exhibit wanton violence and simply take them from your burning corpses. He just sort of smiled. He says, however, I offer you fair trade. I can give you very, very good information in return for those items. What say you?
Well,
They are priceless. I can't give you enough money, but I can give you information that no one knows.
I think that you catch us at a great disadvantage, my good sir. And we are not immediately in a position to discuss this sort of thing. Perhaps it would be fair of me to say that certainly no one else will acquire them should they exist.
I don't care that you have them. I want them. Believe me, they would be better in my possession than yours. But I am not just going to take them from you.
No,
And
you're not.
I'm sure that you believe that there's no possible way that I could do so. You can rest. You can have that belief. That's fine.
No, your wealth and influence are well known throughout Gosterwick.
This is a fair trade. I know for a fact that you have allied yourselves with some adventurers and perhaps rivals of other ones seeking the jewels and treasures within Arden Vul. You're obviously very capable if you were able to find this, which I had no idea was hidden below in the halls. Well, I know something about one of your rivals, even if they aren't yet what they're seeking. I can give you that information. This is information that no one has but them. They have entrusted it with me, and the trust of the rarities factor is a solid oath, and I am willing to break it for those items.
Kind of stretches the definition of solid, but
Indeed.
but I'm not there.
I am trying to exhibit to you exactly how much I desire these items. I am willing to forego the guarantee that my factor presents to its customers.
Your bona fides and sincerity are beyond question, sir. What is more at question is that if we were to have such items, the extreme use that they would no doubt provide in our continued endeavors. Information is sometimes very helpful, but often not as helpful as a very pointy sword, if you follow my meaning.
They are indeed powerful, but their power is minuscule compared to their historical significance.
See, Ted, see what you can get just for like the letters.
Okay, thank you. I was thinking about going that way. Perhaps, oh mighty wick trimmer, a temporary accommodation might be settled upon. For example, there are certain written documents.
He waves you away. I don't care about the letters. I'm talking about the sack, the pin, the cloak. Those three in exchange for what I know.
Mort will sort of turn a little bit. Well, the sack, you say.
It's okay.
Very
So you can tell
he wants our Deathly Hollows, dude.
So there is like you can tell that Wick Trimmer is like his eyes are like hungry for them. You know, he knows that he's talking to the people who has them, and he wants them like really bad. And there is no. You can see that there's no like wiggle room. Like he's not going to be like, well, what if we gave you the sack? You know what I mean? Like he's like, I want all three items, and I'll give you the info. You know, but if you say no, then that's fine. But
no way.
I regret to inform you, oh good sir, that now is not a time at which we are prepared to part with whatever it is we may have found underground. But again, as I say, your wealth and influence and power are such that I would certainly not deign to deny you the right of first refusal in the future, should we be prepared to come to an arrangement. Would that satisfy you, at least for now, sir?
He twitches his nose and he goes, I can't. I must admit that I am disappointed. One last entreaty. Does the name The Beacon mean anything to you? He looks carefully at all of you.
If it does, I have forgotten, because I read weeks ago.
It doesn't.
I do feel like we did hear that.
It doesn't. We've never heard that before.
You've never heard it, yeah. And he just he just nods. He's like, very well. Then be off with you. May your future journeys bring you much lucrative hauling of treasure.
Well,
wait, guys,
we'd like to put this treasure in the vault. So
yeah, he's cool. He's not going to not let you deposit there.
Right. Okay. Oh, this
but you can tell that he's the rarities factor is well known, especially here, because it's unique to only this town. It's not an empire-wide thing that Wick Trimmer himself basically runs. And the fact that adventurers trust him the most because they're bringing up the rare stuff, right? Versus the other factors, like if he was known to sell the secrets of what adventurers are putting in there, that would ruin him, right? So you do have a little bit of leverage against him, right? Because he admitted that he was going to sell out an adventuring group, but that should just imply to you like how much he really wants these items.
Also, guys, side note, I think the beacon would actually ring some bells for us. It was mentioned on the very first obelisk that we climbed. The beacon shall be revealed to those who bring midday life to the sun, the moon, and the stars.
You I'd heard the beacon before somewhere.
Yeah, but didn't he say the beacon?
No.
The beacon? No, they eat meat here. Come on.
Okay.
The beacon. It's Irish, I think.
All right. So
Irish is it?
So you refuse that offer. You maintain Laryl's goods and you deposit everything. So we can figure that out at Discord if you want. But are there any magical items that you are depositing here, or are you keeping all of your magical items and just depositing the wealth?
We're depositing gems, jade, opals, and those 4 urns with all the solidai and Arcantian silver.
What about the other?
And
yeah, right. Okay.
We should deposit the halberd because nobody can use it or that wants it, right?
Yeah, might as well deposit the halberd.
And what else was the thing that we found that we couldn't use or we didn't want to? I don't remember.
You can use that halberd, Gordon.
I can use it, but I'd much rather have a 19 armor class than a halberd. That's just me. Well, I know, but I'm also not lawful, so it's just a plain.
I can't believe that sets Bane for those who are listening. A halberd +1, +2 for lawful PCs, +3 versus evil clerics, +4 versus clerics of set. That's being put in the bank.
Yeah. So and the reason is you have to be lawful to use it, which you left that off. I don't think we have a lawful person in this party.
No, I'm lawful.
Yeah, but you can't use it.
You can't use it. Grow up.
I know. That's what. No, it's not about height. It's about strength specialization, right? Because it counts as a pole arm, John.
Yes, correct. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I could use it, but I'd be at -4, which would mean I'd be at a
disadvantage for everything.
I'm just pointing out that it's a kick-ass weapon. Everyone's like, "Well, just put it in the bag."
It is a kick-ass weapon, and my next character, should I die, will be a lawful paladin type that really likes halberds.
Okay. All right. What else? What other business do you have here in Gosterwick?
All right. So I have so 2 things. Like in the morning, like before training, right? Mm-hmm. I would need to get, and I don't know if this is just something that you can buy off the shelf or if you have to order it, but like a good prosthetic, right? Like I need a good hook. Like, you know, I the fanciest one you can buy, I've got lots of money, but at the very least, I want to be able to do things like, you know, climb. So like a good hook. I want to be able to, you know, with Njol's training, you know, put a shield on this arm. I'm going to train to use my left arm for attacking, but at least, you know, this prosthetic that's going to have, you know, a hook or some kind of attachment on the end so that I can, you know, do some you know, fairly standard things now, like climbing, holding 2 sacks. Or, you know, holding large sacks. Yeah,
I would say like a hook would be your best option. Once again, like the technology just is not there for any sort of mechanical device that would allow for fine detail, you know, fine manipulation. So that's fine. You can do that. It will definitely allow you to strap an arm on there. It will allow you to hold things. You know what I mean, like loosely like this. However, climbing is doable and something like that. But if you just kind of picture like if you hook into something. That it would still not be like great. Like you could do it, but I would say is like you would have a worse chance, or you would have to go slower or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean it's better than what I have now, which is one hand, and you just can't do it.
Right. Yeah. The other way is to go the Jaime Lannister and just have like a totally like aesthetic looking hand thing, so you could pass off in society, but that would be useless. It would be just the same as having a stump.
Yeah. No, I want to be badass and have a hook.
Yeah.
So get back to the spaceship, man. Maybe they got robot arms for you.
Yeah. So, okay. I'll do robot arm. I'm cool. The other thing, and he would just ask the guys if they could, since he knows they're going to the nicest part of town.
Mm-hmm.
I need a few things. This is just, you know.
Oh yeah, we're gonna go shopping.
What's that?
We're gonna go shopping.
Yeah. When you go shopping,
So,
not here. No. This is
one second, Matt. Let's just finish up the hook real quick. So if you want the hook, let's just get it done. So the hook is going to cost you 50 gold if you want it.
Okay.
And it's really nice.
We have only got party funds right now, right? Or do you guys? Did we divide up our funds from previous delves? Does everybody have their own cash of any significance?
I mean, I think we've been doing everything kind of party fun so far.
Because my recollection is the first time we were at Wick Trimmers, we each deposited our own cash. Does anybody remember? Write down, because I've got a big number written down, but I did not know whether it was party funds or
we could worry about that on Discord. For now, why don't we just work with like the party funds that you've got from your latest haul?
So do you want me to just take the 50 out of the party funds then for your hand?
Yeah, we'll figure it out later.
Yeah.
So new hand, 50 gold.
Yeah,
okay.
And the other thing that he needs, if you guys could pick up for him, are some fancy, like the kind that wealthy people would have. Like I need coin purses. Like it's a collection I'm building. I need very the like if you look around and you just go to the store, the kind of coin purses that the high society would buy, and just a collection of them. I'm not sure how much they cost.
How many do you want?
Maybe it depends on the cost. 10.
You want 10 purses?
Yeah.
What's the purpose?
I have something to do with him.
Okay.
Nothing to concern yourself with.
If you want really nice purses, each one will cost 5 gold.
Okay. Yes, I need 10 of those.
Okay, so it's another 50. All right, so and then you are going to have you determined that you're going to train with y'all for an entire week here?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
I mean, that's my intention.
So once you're done with your business, right, whatever that is, we can retcon it too. But at that point, then you're going to be full-time training with y'all at the Stunned Acolyte, basically, to become adept with the use of your left hand in weaponry and things like that. And he is happy to do so. And he when he trains you, it's like you can tell that he just feels awful because, like, basically the whole training involves him looking and watching you, like, as a result of his own actions. You know what I mean? But yeah, he's very, very capable. And
knowing Avaricios, he would never make sly, snide side comments about, boy, remember this other hand that I had? Boy, that thing was handy.
He's like, it wasn't me, man. It wasn't me. I was duped.
Only when I feel like he needs a little nudge.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then you'll make it up to him with wine later.
Do you want to identify his battle axe?
Sure.
Yes.
Why not?
Yes.
200 gold.
Identify Man Weeper, and
okay.
Then let's.
You find Sam like holed up in some shitty inn. As well, and you get her, and she's happy to have that identified. So that's going to be another 400 GP, Ted.
Yep, marking it off.
Okay. First of all, Man Weeper is straight up. It's nothing too great, but it's a magical weapon. It's a Ransuer +1.
Nice.
Don't forget too, like +1 weapons are still like really dope because they overcome any of the monsters that like cannot be hit by anything but magical weapons. That's right. Like a real benefit of having a magic weapon.
Right.
And there's a lot of those. Okay. The battle axe, however, is a named weapon. It is known as the Ruiner of Appetites.
Ooh.
It is a battle axe +1, and other than that, it just has a very strange predilection that the blood of its last victim is impossible to wash off.
Interesting.
That's kind of weird.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of gross, actually. It kind of ruins my appetite.
A little bit.
So, Matt, you're probably going to want to go into y'all's retainer sheet, and for his hit and damage, you're going to want to add +1 to each of those, assuming he's using the battle axe. Okay. Which makes y'all pretty dope. I think he's actually sitting at it with wielding the battle axe. He's at a +5 to hit, and I'm going to say a +3 to damage, I believe.
Wow.
Yeah.
I have a good friend. I don't tease him too much about the hand thing.
Nyal is a 4th level fighter, and also don't forget that in my house rules, fighters have cleave. So if he drops an enemy, he gets to make a free attack.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
So right now, John, it's also just cover the remaining 6 days of the suite.
Would you like to do that? That's fine. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll just pay it because we're going to be here for a week.
So that's another 18 gold.
Okay.
All right. What else?
Next thing, I want to go try and figure out what the darlings are wanted for.
Okay.
So,
how are you going to go about doing that?
I mean, that's a real good question. I would like to do this, first of all. I'm going to find an attorney or some equivalent. No, I'm serious.
Okay.
To do that in corporation for our party, so that we can have like a named party and get the rights that are assigned to us by the thing, and have that be,
So that would basically have to be done in the house of the Thesmothy herself at Eusebia,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
She could take care of all that stuff. There's no like attorneys per se, but
Gotcha.
But she understands. She's the one that made the deal with you in the first place,
Right?
So she goes. That's actually a good idea considering how short your adventurers' lives tend to be. She says as she knocks on wood on the desk when you meet with her. So she says, how would you like to define your band?
I think the definition of the band should be when a new party member joins, we'll have them sign the contract that they are joining the AV Club, which I guess is the super cool name that we came
AV
up
Club,
with.
baby. Yeah.
And so we'll, then we'll have them sign on to the charter at that point, and we'll cap it at 5 active members at any one time.
She was wondering about that. Like she says, like, you can't just keep adding people to your
band.
No,
right.
Yeah.
So we'll cap it at 5 members at any one time, just in case, guys, we ever get another player or something like that. But whatever.
All
not taking auditions, by the way, out there.
Right. All active members have equal shares, that whole bit.
Exactly.
Okay.
Like all that. And then in the process of doing this and writing this contract out, I am going to say, by the way, we ran into several of the knights up at the Broken Head, and they were looking for a party called Dalton's Darlings. We've heard of them before. If we come across them, are they dangerous? Are they wanted for something violent?
She snaps like one of her charlatarii, who goes out and comes back with like a big ledger basically, and she opens up like, if we had an appointment, we'd be in the book. And she like scrolls down through there and she looks at like all these entries, and she points at one. She's like, yes, I see this came directly from the Azure Keep, from the Green Lady herself. This is she kind of laughs. She's like, this might be something that only you and I actually know exactly the real reason. It appears they're wanted for questioning in regard to the sudden function of what's been called here in the ledger the Arden elevator. She actually laughs as well with you, and she's like, those poor saps are probably in for a rough time of it, she says.
Well, since we know the true cause of this Arden elevator's functioning, should they be concerned at this point, or has this query been laid to rest?
Well, it's in my mind, it's been laid to rest. I mean, do you care for the fate of these darlings? Or, I've enjoyed your company. We've made fair dealings, so I am more than willing to perhaps do you a favor and make sure that they are not seen again.
Well, I will say that we have run into some rather unsavory types that we will also be doing research about here in town. A druid named Garalad, a scholar named Isometric, are having a sad time of it down in one of the layers of the dungeons, and we came across a rumor of the Darlings, and there is a potential to ally with them to civilize certain parts of that
well, if you have a good relationship with the Darlings, then by all means I will send this back up to the Lady Alexia and let her know that the issue is resolved and that they are not wanted for questioning. And the knights will back off, of course. Interesting, however, you tell me what you'd like to do, of course, but I don't know the name Garlad, but the name Isocritus I do know, she says. But first, would you like me to tell the lady that to not bother with the Darlings anymore?
Perhaps I could make an appointment with you tomorrow and think about it for a while and go over it with my friends.
Very well.
Cool, Ted? Okay.
Okay, so she goes, the name Isocritus is actually known in some of the elite circles in the Empire. And you were saying that you actually met this man, that you saw him?
No, we did not see him. However, he's fallen in with some rather unsavory types. And so while I don't know him, he seemed like an erudite gentleman. And we're actually concerned that he may be in a spot of trouble.
I think he might be. Now, this is based on my friendship that I have, and I would ask all of you to keep this to this word should not spread beyond this room. But I am friends with the steward of the keep itself, a person known as Freitas the Stern. And Freitas has the ear of the Lady Alexia and knows much of her business. And I make it a point to know Lady Alexia's business, because if I don't, I can't run the town correctly for her. So I don't see any shame in having a little bit of a spy in the Azure Keep, as it were. It greases the wheels of governance.
Makes sense.
So she knows, and she asks, and she actually gets a couple of other notes and stuff like that from her Charlatarii as well to corroborate this. But the gist of it is this, all right? Isocritus. She knows that he is known in elite circles as an adventuring sage par excellence. And he has a specialty in finding and interpreting ancient texts. And she looks at you with like a raised eyebrow to confirm that this might be the case.
Mm-hmm.
Right. He is based out of Narcelion, which is the Exarchate capital, right? The large city that's off into the east. He was called in recently by the Lady Alexia personally and met privately. This is information that she got from Freitas the Stern. Called in by Lady Alexia and met privately to discuss the existence and possible recovery of what's known as the missing regalia. This occurred approximately 1 month ago. Only Freitas the Stern and Lady Alexia's primary advisor, known as Theodora, know of this meeting. And me, of course, she says, with a wry smile. At the time when he met with Lady Alexia, he was given a room at his suite at the Stunned Acolyte. And in fact, she says, your exact suite, the one that I gifted to you with a discounted rate.
Oh.
He researched and concluded that the information on the locations of the missing regalia would probably be tied to the accounts of the famed Archontian military general known as Marius Tricotor, who led an expedition many years ago into the ruins of Arden Vul and established the Archontian rule that lasted for many centuries when the priesthood of Thoth flourished in the halls.
That's not the same Anaximander.
No, that was Adrianic, which was a failed small expedition. This was many centuries before. Marius Tricotor basically entered in with a giant force, like the weight of the empire behind him, and established Archontian rule, established in Arden Vul itself.
Wow.
So that when he found out that information that the missing regalia may be tied to Marius Tricotor, that led him to search out the library of Thoth, which you know exactly where that is. Whereupon, it is likely that he met someone there in exchange, and probably, based on what you're telling me, may have worked out some sort of deal to do research within that library in exchange for some sort of aid for whatever being may have been in charge of that library.
I wonder.
When you say regalia, do you mean crowns and robes or something else?
I can tell you exactly what we're talking about if you give me 1 moment.
I sure hope it wasn't a jade scepter that I just sold.
Was not that. Much more valuable. 1 moment. Okay, I found the passage that I was looking for here. Okay, so Eusebia tells you that the missing regalia are the the pieces of regalia that defined the office of Archon during the glory days of Archontian control of Arden Vul. So whoever actually contains the regalia has absolute authority as Archon of Burdock's Valley, with this area, including Arden Vul, right? The Lady Alexia desires it greatly, because if she can claim the regalia and display them, that means that she can actually claim lordship over Burdock's Valley over her half-brother, the current Lord Burdock, whose name is Iskander. And Iskander rules from Newmarket, which is the capital of Burdock's Valley, and has the authority given to him by the Empire and all that sort of stuff, right? So he is Lord Burdock right now. Lady Alexia is the half-brother, though, can't stand her, is the half-sister, and she can't stand her half-brother and wants to wrest control of it from him. If she can get the missing regalia, she'll have those pieces of authority long lost and be able to claim that lordship. This is why Marius Tricotor from centuries and centuries ago, right, is so important, right? And this is why she talked to Isocritus, to find out where she could find the missing regalia. Those 4 pieces are, and you have heard tales of these things, basically, right? Always associated with Marius Tricotor. It is the Iron Circlet of Gonor, Ghanor. The Bone Ring of Yagri Naz, which is Jagri-Naz. The Ebon Spear, and what is only known as the Tablet.
Those are good names.
So
very cool.
Yeah, so it appears that Isocritus is searching for information on Marius Tricotor in the Library of Thoth in Plunger Town in order to discover more information about that regalia. But his access to that library was somehow negotiated with Garelad, right? That's the notion. Now, Eusebia has no notion of who Garelad is. Nothing at all. But she does know about Isocritus was known in elite circles as being the kind of guy who was an expert in this sort of stuff. He's a known quantity, right?
Nice one, Mike.
So if we were to assist him, we make a very powerful ally.
Very possible, yeah. He knows people, that is for sure. But what he has is information. You know,
but I'm just saying, actually above and beyond that, if we recover any of this regalia and return it back to the lady, we make a big ally.
Yes.
Or
big time, yeah.
We have the 4 regalia. A goblin could rule this valley.
that's the way to think. Yeah, man. Domain day. All right.
Has he? Just one question. Has he been seen back since he disappeared? He went down in there about a month ago. Has he ever been back to town?
No, but you did see that he.
I know he popped up.
He popped up, yeah.
But I didn't know if he came all the way down.
Not that anyone has seen. That's correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. He has surfaced, but he has not returned. Going back real quickly to identifying the items, I made a mistake. The 2 rings, along with the torques that were found in the ghoul chamber way back in the day, I made a mistake. The 2 rings actually do identify as gold. They are identical. They are made out of white gold, and they are inscribed with the names, respectively, of Ruatanus and Aethelgifu. Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. I think you wrote those down. That's why I said them real fast. But they are white gold and they are magical. The torques, however, are not, but they are each inscribed with an ibis head and a cornucopia. And you can get them appraised and liquefy them, whatever you want to do. They're each worth 70 gold, but together, if you sell them as a set, they're actually worth 280 gold.
Ooh.
Yeah. Which is pretty great.
Each GP 280 as a set.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm. Now, at this point, surely they would give us a deal on identifying those rings. Like buy one get one half price, maybe.
I'm afraid not. No, I'm afraid not. They got components. They got components they got to burn for this sort of shit, you know. And then the alabaster urns that you also found there, they were worth 225 gold each. There was 4 of them.
Okay.
Although I'm a little about like actually like getting those very fragile things out safely, but whatever.
Oh no, John, we're very careful. We're very careful.
No, because we filled them with coin and carried them.
Yeah.
That's how we got them out. Like they're intact because they're full of coins, because otherwise the coins would have spilled.
I'll give you the benefit of the doubt this time. Next time, alabaster urns are not going to be carried without some sort of...
225 each?
Yeah.
All right, so we can liquidate that for, what is it? That's 900 gold. Very nice. And the value, so we also had in there, inside them was 15 solidi and an 1135 Arcantian silver.
Yeah, you've accounted for all that, right?
I do not have what that actually works out to be in value, no. I think it's like 150, sorry, that a solidi is 10 gold.
Yeah, so I'm just going to mark it down, so we're not going to calculate right now. There was 16 ancient gold solidi, 2,316 ancient copper bits, and 1,135 ancient silver pennies.
Right, we left the copper with the halflings.
Yeah, okay, so 16 gold solidi and 1,135 silver pennies.
Inn, I think.
Okay. In addition, you left that spear there. That spear is still there.
Right.
We're going to get that, don't worry.
Okay, what else do you want to do in Gosterwick?
Hire mercenaries. Or at least start the process.
Was there any... That's a big one. Was there anything else just sort of... Like, just needed to check it off the list real quick?
Yeah, so there every night, I need to Avaricios talk to Mort. Mort, I need to borrow your... I need to borrow the bag for just a minute. I need something from there. If that's okay, just don't worry about it. Just a little thing.
What do you need? Oh, it's my bag. Oh, I've got it. It's the only magic item I have.
I thought you got the dagger.
I don't have the dagger. I'd be happy to take it, but I don't have it.
I thought you were taking the dagger. Anyway, this is not important. What I need right now is you know what, a mouse. If you could just I just need as many mice as your bag will give me. Like, maybe a couple a night is all I really need. Just a couple mice.
I'll give him some mice.
Okay.
And so every night that week, he's gonna be all bruised and tired and sore or whatever from training, but he's gonna cast Speak with Animals on these mice, and every night he's going to with the purses that we got, those fancy purses, he's going to using some like little treats and little grains and just like leftover stuff from dinner. He's going to talk to them and train them to get rewards every time they nibble at the threads and like little holes at the bottoms of these purses. So just he's going to get this. The idea is to get like this increasing group of mice that he talks to and trains to do this. So by the end of the week, he'll have a little group of mice that are all trained to nibble at these coin purses.
And Mort is going to watch this process and say, this doesn't seem like you have. You seem different somehow.
Yeah. So yeah, it's a very odd activity.
It's just a little hobby, you get these magics, you do a little thing here. Look, you can get them to do a little trick, to try it. And the little mouse will pull the little thread out from the...
Yeah, I'd say because you can actually speak their language that, convincing them to do that is viable. You know what I mean? Even though they're sort of like wild animals, So how many did you want? I mean,
how many mice can I pull out per day, John?
You can't be abused. You know what I mean? It's like,
I'll give him a mouse every night. He gets 7 mice. How's that?
That's fine. That's doable. Right. Yeah.
And these are going to be like the lieutenants of my little mouse army.
Okay, cool. All right, so yeah, you would have to like memorize speak with animals like every night so that you could keep talking to them and everything like that. And also because this is something that you're doing and training at night after you're training with y'all. At the end of the week, Avaricios is by far like the most exhausted person because you are spending way too much time awake. That's cool. All right, cool. Let us know what's going on with that. I don't know why you would be thinking of these strange and mischievous plans. Okay, so I'm just gonna. So we're gonna pick up next time with the big one, which is basically attempting to hire this mercenary army or find these dwarves. Right? That's the plan. Is there any desire? We've covered everything else, right? Pretty much for Gosterwick.
I think so.
Now, is there, to end it, one last question. Do you plan to hire any hirelings, like actual retainers? Ted does? Yeah.
Mort wants to hire 2 goblins to carry things and hold torches and generally, represent.
2 goblin retainers if possible. All
Yep.
right. We'll have to ask David the same question. He very well might want someone as well.
I'm very leery too because my charisma is so low.
Gotcha.
I don't need them making off with my shit. The other thing though, John, is that I did want to try and sort out is, are we going to get those 2 rings identified?
You know what? I think we should. Let's just, while we can, let's do it.
But just go real quick back to the retainers thing.
Sure.
Niall is Avarius' retainer now. He does not have to be paid. However, he will take a share of XP. The 2 goblin retainers, if you get them, will also do that. Just be aware. Do you also plan when you leave Gosterwick to take any of your fellow prisoner NPCs with you?
Yeah, all of them.
Okay. So don't forget. So Tresty will come because you've promised her the book. Yo still has to make a decision. He's coming one way or the other with you or the Darlings or whatever like that. Sam will need to be paid. Okay. So Sam will then also become a retainer. You understand?
Can she just be my retainer then?
She can if but like her loyalty score and everything will be based upon your charisma if you're
okay. So maybe give David the option of doing that.
I'm just saying, like, if you want her, she will become a retainer.
Yeah, she could. You know what? She could either go with David or go with Av. Av's charisma's not bad.
Okay, so we
not as good as Anwar's, but
possibly what we're talking about then is 2 goblin retainers, Sam, Niall, and that is it for actual like paid. Right. Yeah, retainers. Okay, got it. Okay, cool. Just wanted to mark that down for my own benefit.
No rush on hiring them. We're here for a week. We can hire them towards the end of the week too. It's fine.
Gotcha. Okay, so one benefit is that the rings can be identified as a set, so it will only cost you 200 gold.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. So these are interesting items.
Sweet.
These are known as they are always in a mated pair. They're called the Rings of Friendly Defense. Okay. According to the sages, they actually come in a variety of metals with different effects. However, yours is white gold. All of these rings, regardless of their metal, function as, first of all, rings of protection +1.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm. But their true potency arises when they are used in tandem. The wearer of one ring of a pair can command at any time one of the following effects to be instantly imposed on the wearer of the other ring. Each effect inflicts some cost on the wearer who instigates the effect, and rings of different metals are known to carry a different array of effects. In most cases, there is no limit to the number of uses per day. So, white gold, the included effects are stealth and shield. So, the cost to the instigator is blindness. The recipient is affected by an invisibility spell. The duration is according to that spell's duration. Okay. So the person who wants to do it is temporarily rendered blind. The other person who's having the other ring is rendered invisible. And then it also has shield. Shield, the cost to the instigator is a -2 penalty to AC. The recipient is affected by a shield spell. Okay.
That's pretty awesome.
So it's pretty cool. So
awesome.
2 of you will each get a ring of protection +1, which is a bonus to AC. I believe it's also saving throws, but I need to look that up. It might be different in OSC, but definitely AC. And then you have that sort of risk what do you call it? Risk benefit analysis.
That's sick, dude. That's really cool.
Mm-hmm. It's pretty cool. Very, very unique sort of item.
That would be actually if we're doing a recon into the halflings thing. You got one person who sits back blind and fragile, and the other person goes in shielded and invisible.
Mm-hmm. We can have 2 invisible people go together, so nobody has to go by themselves.
How long that invisibility would last, John?
What's that?
How long would that invisibility last?
It's the duration of the beneficial effect, so the equivalent of the spell. However long invisibility and shield lasts is how long that effect would last.
Got it.
Including for the instigator. Cool. So you should note down who of you is getting Ruratanis and who is getting Aethel Gifu. And then the instigator can be either wearer. You know what I mean? Like Ruratanis is not like the negative one.
Oh, so it's buddies. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right, but is one... can they each do the same things, or is one of them do one thing and the other one does the other?
No, they can each do both things.
Okay.
But the wearer determines who is the instigator, and that is the person who suffers.
Right, but so if you're wearing Ruratanis, you could make Aethel Gifu blind and shielded.
No.
Visible and shielded.
Yes.
And you'd go and you'd go blind and -2 AC,
yes.
Or the other person could choose to do the same thing but reversed.
With Aethel Gifu, yes, correct, yeah. Mm-hmm. It's just whoever decides to do it is the person who suffers. You see what I'm saying?
Fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That part I understood. I just wanted to make sure both rings did both things, basically.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay.
The ring for David is probably super important because shield is basically like it's just a great spell for someone who's got no armor, So he probably ought to have one. And then Ted, last thing I'll say is, man, I'm not trying to bogart all the magic items. I have a magic shield and I got something else too. So
we got it.
If you want the dagger, dude, you should just take the dagger.
Ooh,
we can go through all that stuff and figure it out.
I just looked at the ring of protection too. It does give you a +1 bonus to all saving throws too.
I mean, that's pretty. That's pretty.
That's pretty great. Yeah. Okay. So that's a sweet item. I'm glad you made me look that up, Ted, because I would totally have missed it. I totally thought they were just rings.
Okay, we do not those.
All right.
Okay.
So we'll pick it up next time, and we'll definitely probably be heading back to Arden Vul, but we'll pick it up first with the very important hiring of the whatever team it is that is going to go full frontal on the halflings,
right.
and then we'll head back to Arden Vul. So pretty cool,
awesome,
nice downtime session, guys. Got a lot done, which is great. Everyone, thanks for watching again. You've been watching 3D6 Down the Line. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. You know the deal. Pass on the word. And I hope everyone has a great week, and we will see you next time. Have a good one.
See you guys. Thank you, John.